Hey there, Kaiju kids, and welcome back to Mike Meeple's Painting Poorly Miniature Painting Tutorials for Monsterpocalypse by Privateer Press. Today, we are taking a look at our first monster, Defender X. This game is a little different than my previous games, as you'll need to print up your models yourself with a 3D printer, but as you can see, this model prints up great. I started off by priming the model with Chaos Black Spray Primer by Citadel, and once that's all dry, it's time to start Basecoats. We're going to begin with some Elven Armor by the Army Painter, and use that to paint the blue portions of the model, which is most of him, but specifically his boots, chassis, forearms, and jetpack. Don't be afraid to apply multiple coats to get the coverage you're looking for. Just make sure the first coat is completely dry before adding another. Next, we'll be using Night Scales by the Army Painter to paint all the black metallic portions, like the shoulder pads and the accents around the chassis, heads, and boots, along with the exhaust vents on his jetpack and missiles mounted to his arms. After that, use some Amaranth Red by Vallejo to paint the pontoons. Be patient with this color because orange is tricky, but with 3 or 4 thin coats, you'll get the color you're looking for. You'll also use this to paint the tips of the missiles on his arms and the engines on his head. When that's all dry, grab some plate mail metal by the Army Painter and paint the metallic portions for the jetpack and the pontoons. You'll use the same color to paint the face mask, upper arms, hands, and legs, along with a couple of accents here and there around the pontoons and boots, like screws or vents. And since I've got Defender X on a textured base, I'm using Neutral Gray by Vallejo and some other colors I've got lying around to paint up the street and some of the details. The last thing we'll use is Retributor Armor by Citadel to paint the insignia on the belt. And once that's dry, it's time for shades. The only thing we'll be using today for shades is Nuln Oil by Citadel. Start off by applying a thin layer of Nuln Oil over the silver portions of the model, making sure it doesn't pool up too much in any particular area. After that, we'll be very carefully applying a layer to all of the line grooves in the orange and metallic blue portions. If some of the shade gets outside of the groove, don't be afraid to quickly wipe it off with your thumb or finger. When you're done with that, apply a thin layer to the gold logo and to the textured base. Once that's all dry, it's time for highlights and finishing touches. We'll be starting off by using plate mail metal to highlight the silver portions, like the arms and legs, and the cones of the jetpack and the tips of the pontoon. When placing highlights, you want to focus on the portions that are the most prominent, avoiding areas close to recesses or grooves. For a second highlight, we'll be using silver by Vallejo and highlighting a slightly smaller portion of what we just painted. Next, we'll mix together equal parts plate mail metal and night scales to highlight the black metal portions, like the shoulder pads, and the trim around the boots and the chassis. After that, you can add a second highlight using pure plate mail metal and mostly just doing a light highlight on the shoulder pads. Moving on to the orange pontoons, use some bright orange by Vallejo. You can paint almost all of the pontoons and the tops of the head wings and the missile tips. And for a second highlight, use light orange by Vallejo. On the pontoons, you want to concentrate the color near the top of each portion. And to add a little bit more pop, we'll use Demonic Yellow by the Army Painter to add a third highlight. Next, we'll use Azure Magic by the Army Painter to highlight the metallic blue portions. Then use some of your silver to add just a bit more pop to some of those metallic blue portions. Now use white by Vallejo to paint the insides of all of the exhaust ports. And when that's dry, mix together 5 parts Lamian Medium by Citadel and 1 part Fluorescent Blue by Vallejo. Apply some of this mix to the inside of each exhaust port to give them the illusion of a glow. After that, grab some Liberator Gold by Citadel and highlight the golden insignia. Last, we'll use some Sky Gray by Vallejo and apply a dry brush to the textured base. Then, paint the rim of your base and hit it with some matte spray. And that's it! I want to give a big shout out to all of my patrons whose generous support helped me make quality content like this. And if you're interested in becoming a patron yourself, information on how to do so can be found in the description for this video, along with links to all the supplies I used today to both print and paint this model, and a link to my blog where you'll find more tutorials for games like Monsterpocalypse. And if you like this video and would like to see more, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Smash it up!